welcome to Castlefest. We are Eurogamer Galaxy. We're at Castlefest for the first time, and we've done an interview with writer Patty van Delft. And she's gonna tell you all about her books and what's coming next for her. Let's see that in the interview.
When I started writing, that's a long time ago. I was always, I loved books. My father read to me when I was young, and yeah, when I could read myself, I was always devouring books. I loved books, and I was making up stories in my head. But I'm also a bit chaotic, so I never finished the story. And I wrote a lot of poems when I was younger. When I was 14 years old, I lost my older brother. So yeah, to get through that time, I started writing poetry. And I did that for a very long time. And then I quit. And yeah, I did nothing for a while, just read. And in 2013, I had this story in my head about dragons and a parallel planet and the bond between humans and dragons, and that was this one. And I was playing around a bit of daydreaming, and the story got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I fell ill, and I had to stay at home, and I had to do very little, so I could sit on the couch, and that was about it. And I got bored, but because after a while you don't want to read anymore, you don't want to see TV shows anymore, and that was when my husband says, "Well, yeah, but you got a story in your head, so start writing it." And I did, and that was the first book. So that's how my journey as a writer began. I love dragons. Ever since I read Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern, I fell in love with the way she described dragons, not as the monsters who are guarding the treasure, but as individuals, as powerful creatures. And that idea got stuck in my head, and I wanted to do something similar. Only I wanted to do something for the young adults, so for a younger public. And yeah, that's why I started writing this. Yes, I'm busy with a steampunk series, Terras Altas. 2 books are now published. The third one is I'm almost finished writing. So end of this year, the third book will be published, and I hope the fourth and final book in the series will be published next year. It's a prequel. It's 3 books, and then we have a prequel about 300 years before the series. And this one is about how the bond between dragons and humans came to be, and why the dragons chose Dragonduma as their new planet to live, because they are actually from Earth. But the magic was failing here, so the story goes. So they had to find a new place, a new home, and that's Dragonduma. And you can read it as part of the series, but you can also read it as a standalone. It's a full story. It's a red story. So that's why we translated this one in English first.
This is the first book that's translated in English?
Yes, this is the first book that's translated in English. For the moment, only in English. We're looking at German too, but yeah, my translator is a Scottish woman, a native speaker. So yes, she translated for me, and I haven't found a German translator yet. So we're looking at it, but we're also looking at it because steampunk is big in Germany. We are a bit torn between to translate this one or to translate the first one in the Terras Altas series. So choices. You know, when you're a writer, inspiration, you can find inspiration everywhere around you. A little conversation you overhear, or something you see, or something you've been through. you can use it all for your stories. So there are absolutely elements from our own life woven through the stories, but with a little twist to make them fantasy. You have a lot of emotions. I write with a lot of emotions in my stories, and those emotions are really emotions I felt. So the feelings of loss of a loved one, or the feelings of hopelessness, but also the power to go on in troubled times. Yeah, those are all feelings that come out of my own heart. And when I'm writing, I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm doing it all. I'm doing everything. Yes, that was very exciting. You know, I have a very, very good cover artist. Dominique Bronique has designed all these covers from the Dragonduma, and he is a delight to work with. But when I started the Terras Altas series, I had this picture in my head. I always have pictures in my head from the covers. But I had this specific cover in my head, and I knew that it would work better with photos than with real illustrations. So I tried to make my own cover, and within the back of my head, from okay, if I screw it up, I have Dominique, so he can fix it for me. But it worked out pretty well. So that's it's great to get compliments about the cover because I'm not a cover illustrator. I'm really not. And after this is done, I will not do it again because it's very, very a lot of work. And I rather spend my time at writing. So I have a couple of stories already in my head, so I have to lock them away because I have to finish. To finish this one first, but also kind of a fantasy cyberpunk series. Another steampunk story that will be a one book, so totally different from the rest, without magic. Another story, also fantasy. A lot of stories are going in my head, so I have to choose. I will always listen to my beta readers, my publisher, always. But if I think that it will hurt the story when I change it, I won't do it. So because it's also a matter of taste. And what one beta reader doesn't like, another one does like. So, and that's with all readers. And this one is, yes, this is my husband, and and he is very, very always very strict when it comes to my stories. So he's the first one to read it, and he has loads of comments. So they always say but your husband, and he cares for you and he loves you, so he's sweet. No, he's not sweet. When it comes to my stories, he's not sweet. But it makes my stories better. It's my biggest trigger. Yes. So perfect combination. That's so hard. That's so hard to answer because I really love all of them, even the bad guys. But I'm very, very fond of the dragons, especially Mordet, who is a dragon of a side character in the series. But I also really love the characters in Terras Altas because they're so different, and they all have their own background, and they all have their own dreams and struggles. So it's impossible to choose for me. Yes, right. Start writing. I know a lot of beginning writers but it's not good enough. And when they have written a chapter, they go back and they're gonna tweak again and again. No, write the story. Just tell what you want to tell, and then it's when you are stuck in the story, just skip a part to where you have a scene that you can write, and then you go back. And you don't have to write from the beginning to the end. You are a writer, so you can Do whatever you want. You are magic, and you have to use that. And it's when I write a book, I just write, and then my first beta reader is gonna read it, and then I get it back with all these notes. What everything is wrong, and I think, oh my god, I can't write. I have to start again. And then another beta reader is gonna read it, and another one, and another one. They have all tips, and so you don't have to have a perfect story from the get-go. You can develop it after you have written the main story. So just write, start.